All right. Let's just bring it closer. This is going to be another time that, once again, every time with this orientation button, it doesn't, sometimes it goes normal, now it looks like this stupid shit. All right, man. Who else is getting sick of the grind? Talk to me. It's like people just want to get a rise out of other people. And then they want to like create this soap opera of bullshit and do like comic book wars and shit like that. I'm here eating my animal crackers, and it's like, who else out there is sick of where the industry is going? Like, let's talk about it. Baltimore got mad people at let me back up. Mad vendors that I know at Baltimore Con, right? But why is everybody streaming and on their phones? Are there no people at Baltimore Con shopping? Are you that slow at that convention that you guys have all this time to just make videos and talk to people live, etc., etc.? I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. Is it dead over there? I mean, shit. Now, I know that from what I'm scrolling on my social media, I practically follow everybody for all these years. I mean, is it just dead? Is it vendors only purchasing with other vendors? Are people actually spending money on these comic books and collectibles anymore? Talk to me. Talk to me. I sure as hell don't see it. Now, when I tour, when I'm walking around, especially coming up New York Comic Con, that turned into a cosplay party. So, you know, I know Fanatics Fest was popping. Fanatics Fest was popping. People were dropping paper like crazy, spending crazy amounts of money on cards and collectibles. But let's talk about the comic book industry. Now, I'm getting sick and tired. I've been sick and tired. I vocalized that, though, about all these Fugazi gimmick variants. But I see people showing off like their Golden Age books, Silver Age books, and they still come home with them. And they still come home with their boxes that they bring with them to these shows. I mean, they're spending good money. $3,000, $4,000, $2,000 for booths and sections and all this other stuff. And yet, are you guys just breaking even? Are you guys just breaking even? Like, okay, here, give the convention $2,000 to set up. Well, guys, unless you're making $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 in sales, you just pissed away $2,000 and $2,000 of your profit. Yet alone, logistics. It takes money to get to the facility, to get from the facility. Some of you do room and board and hotel stays and food and dinner and lunch and breakfast and drinks. So, is it just a getaway vacation for you guys? Or is it truly business? Because I don't see anybody, there's a fact, no one making that money they should be making on their inventories. That's why my smart ass is here in New York City and not at Baltimore Comic Con. So, I love my bros that go and set up at the conventions, but I don't need to do that. Matter of fact, I hate to say this, but none of you need to do that in 2024 going into 2025. And it's like, I know I'm not the only one sick of this grind. I know that for a fact. I know that for a fact, that I'm not the only one sick of that grind. So my thing is this. You guys should be focusing on your websites, social media, listing your merchandise on eBay and hit the world, not wasting time on these little baby apps, focusing to a little niche of viewers that are live during a certain window of time. And I'm not saying turn your backs on conventions, not at all. That's not what I'm saying. But play it smart. Because if you're throwing away $1,000, $2,000, $4,000 on booths, and then an additional $500 to $1,000 on transportation, hotel stays, food, room, board, etc., maybe even expenses because people are paying workers or help, that's on you guys. Logistically and operationally speaking, in business, that doesn't make any sense unless you're making a massive profit, in which case in 2024 going into 2025, those days are done. Those days are done. Or unless you guys just do like this vendor swap, where it's one vendor is buying something from another vendor and you guys are doing little trades, and then you go and get something else from another vendor and stuff. But this industry is taking a flip. It's taking a massive flip. So, guys, are people dropping money like that? Are people spending money on the golden age, the silver age, the moderns? The moderns, are they spending money on back issues? Has everything just become a dollar bin dumpster dive? Is everything really still focused on these gimmick variants? Because they seem to sell at shows and then they die out the week after. So it's vendor buys it from the creator at the show, creator's making money, vendor or flipper reseller that same day or night flips it, he makes his money. Does that third person in the equation, that's the loser. That's the person that loses money. So the creator makes the money. The initial flipper makes a profit when he sells to the third person, and the third person is the one that gets stuck with it and then takes a loss. But yet, we see this all the time happening. We see it all the time. Yeah, people call out the gimmicks. I mean, there's a team of people on Instagram calling it out constantly. Doesn't really seem to have an effect, though. I mean, it still keeps on being created, still keeps on being pumped and dumped. Okay. And let's talk now these conventions. Now they're on the grind too. All they keep doing is jacking up the prices for the vendors, making things highly expensive when it comes to autographs, signatures, some exclusives. And then it's like they put up this wall to only let in the people or the vendors in this little inner circle. You know what I mean? I know vendors have been waiting for their opportunities to sell at these conventions for years. Does that make sense to you? As a super promoter, see, I could say that about myself because I earned that. As a super promoter, especially in New York City and Miami, Florida, and let's keep it real, Atlantic City, New Jersey. As a super promoter, if I'm running a convention, right? Unless that person is selling some ridiculous or illegal items, why would I ever say no to them if I'm running a convention? I would want everybody and anybody inside of that convention. I wouldn't try to say no or blacklist somebody or say, yeah, you know, next year, no, whatever. Never, never. But yet, this is what these conventions do. And are you guys aware of that? Now, when you guys walk the conventions, there's so much space. There shouldn't be there shouldn't be any vendor on a waiting list. If that vendor, if they're selling the proper items, and not some crazy shit or illegal shit, no vendor should be denied setting up at a convention. Period. Period. If they're willing to pay the same amount of money as other vendors, why would any of them be denied? Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there have been multiple people fired from Reed Pop. The people that run New York Comic Con, etc., etc., etc. Multiple people have been terminated. These are people that have been there for years, and now they're gone. I mean, this industry is changing, and you guys aren't aware of behind the scenes. This industry is changing. Is it for the better or for the worst? I mean, listen, I still see grails, and I keep on talking about this, grails selling every day. I see them. But the back issues, they're dying. Moderns, listen. It's very cool that people shop at local comic shops. These are good men and women who pay their rents and utility bills and their expenses and their diamond accounts, ordering and ordering and ordering. But let's face it, these comic shops are dying out. They're growing extinct. They're growing extinct. And yet these good men and women still try to grind and keep their doors open to their community. But is their community even replying or responding to them with business? Now, I could only speak about what I see. And now I'm here in New York. So I see New York, I see Long Island. It's a dying breed. Local comic shops is a dying breed. That grind is going to be discontinued. So I say to you this. If it's not all about, well, it seems to be Grails, key issues, Golden Age, Silver Age, first appearances, obviously. But then there's this other market of self-created bullshit gimmick variants that just don't seem to be going away. So that's fine, right? It's not fine to me, but that's their thing. And clearly people in the world, you guys buy into this stuff. Now, I know for a fact that no one's making money. The third person is not making money on this. Like I said, the creator, the initial vendor, the creator, they're making money. Then the flipper comes on the day of the release, buys them, so they're going to make money on it. And then the third person is the person who buys it on an app or social media. That's the third person. And they're the ones that get stuck with it. Because they ain't making money on it. Because then they're buying it at the max price. And then that's it. It caps off, it's done, and then it starts to deteriorate by Monday morning, and then in 2 weeks it's done, it's finished. Because I keep on saying that, and it's black and white. There is no variant that exists in this world that was ever created like these gimmicks that actually increase in value. None. Show me one. You can't. Nobody can. I've been saying this. So then there's the grind of the comic conventions. Right now, Baltimore Comic Con is going on. October is New York Comic Con, right? I mean, these vendors are shelling out $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for their booths. It's absurd. It's absurd. Yeah, I'll drop a pipe bomb. Fanatics Fest, Orlando, Florida, November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Vendor tables only $350. That's how it should be. That's how it should be. And a vendor can either get a table, an 8x6 section, or they could request multiple tables. But it ain't no $3,000, $2,000, $1,500 for a table. No. Because they care about the people. They care about the vendors, and they want to see them succeed. They care about the people, so they want to keep tickets low, and they care about... See, that's respectable. That's respectable. I mean, there's reasons why I'm not doing these comic conventions anymore, I mean, I'm for the people, and I always told everybody, be about the people, and I am about the people. Be about the people. Set up at your conventions, shake people's hands, stand up and shake their hands and thank them. But these conventions, they're getting out of hand with their absurd pricing. It's absurd. They're killing the grind. They are killing the grind. And I'm sure that there's a lot of vendors, artists, creators, publishers, small business owners, reps, art reps, who all agree these booth prices are out of control. Out of control. So, then you guys as vendors, you guys see, half of you aren't even making a profit. And if you're not making a profit, you just threw away $2,000 of ROI profit right there, off the bat. You threw away merchandise right there, off the bat. So, guys, this industry and this grind that we do is changing. It has changed within the last 4 or 5 years. It has changed. Pricing, things are dropping dramatically. What will happen in 2025? Will the economy get better? Will demand in back issues increase? Will demand in actually reading and collecting resurface? Will it rise from the ashes like the phoenix? I don't know myself. I don't know. Right now, everybody is into just key collecting, chasing down the key, not reading the story, not knowing shit about a comic book. They care about, what does it sell for? What am I going to buy it at? What am I going to sell it for? What's my profit? That's what they care about. So it's basically taking the history of the comic book industry, and it's plummeting down the toilet. So we're going to see more local comic shops close. That's a given. Especially with raising rents and raising utility costs, especially in the major cities. Local comic shops, I was going to say mom and dad shops, local comic shops, I firmly believe, will become extinct. And business as you and I know it, it's going to be like this. Virtual, flooded in a market of virtual sellers. And what does that mean? That means you will just be one of the many lost in the mix. And I know you guys feel that way now. I know you guys feel that way. Live sales are diminishing in numbers. Live sales in general are just oversaturated, and really a lot of people turn their backs, rightfully so, on certain apps because of just disgusting behaviors. Rightfully so. Very good. Very, very good. And it's good to see people really stay clear of companies and organizations that promote misleading people and their buyers. Fantastic. But do you see why I say I'm sick of the grind? Because it's becoming extremely manipulative, tainted, and these convention prices are astronomical. And the main comic book conventions are cosplay parties. That is where this has evolved to. Now you have your opinions. You guys like what you like. You guys buy what you want to buy. Awesome. Keep on doing it. There is nobody in this world that can tell you or me what to do with our own money. But I'll say it again. At the end of the day, what is your collections worth? What is your comic book worth? What is your card worth? What is your collectible worth? It's only worth the price someone is willing to pay for it. Think about that. Take care, guys.